All right, here we go with the 2007 Conference Championship Series. We've got four teams left. Pretty obvious with that statement, but Fort Collins, Kyle, and the Fort Collins Roosters are going to go to Somerville to face JR in the money line. Fort Collins advancing from the wild card series after beating the Washington Generals and the huge upset of the Las Vegas High Rollers, and they've just been hard to put down here. They've been down with some big deficits in multiple games, and they've just fought back and have been pretty unstoppable here in the postseason. And I believe Fort Collins has been to the Conference Championship Series before. I think the first two seasons of our existence, I believe, Kyle made it this far. So trying to get over that hump and get to his first Championship Series game. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have JR's Somerville Moneyline, who dispatched of the Montreal Machine in the Division Championship Series with a sweep. So undefeated here in the postseason and hoping to continue moving forward here in the Conference Championship against the Roosters. And on the other side, we have the Huron Herons and Michael's team back in the Conference Championship Series after a brief hiatus last year. So this is his second time here in 3 years, I believe. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. And then the Seals, they're here for the first time. They were a wild card team this year and have won two series. Both these teams actually wild card teams. So we'll see who represents that side of things for the Fire Conference. Let's look at these matchups real quick. And looking at the matchups, it looks like Fort Collins and Somerville have played 6 times this season. And Somerville has the 4-2 series advantage on that. And looking over at the Herons and the Seals, they've also played 6 times here, and that is a 4-2 advantage for the Seals. So again, these teams being in different divisions haven't played too much this season. We'll have to see how these 7 game series play out. So without further ado, we'll get things underway and see how these teams do. Good luck to our GMs. Let's get Stats Plus going here. 1 second. Taking forever to open. For some reason my Mac does not like certain apps. There we go. All right, good luck to Kyle, JR, Michael, and Alex. Here we go. Victor Rivera hits a solo home run to lead things off in the first for the Herons. His fifth home run here of the postseason. San Diego with the leadoff runner on, and then a Todd Vela single, first and second, nobody out to start things off for the Seals. Bases loaded now, nobody out as Bill Bryce walks. Jim Green's going to ground into a fielder's choice. Arcani strikes out swinging, so let's see if the Herons get out of this jam here. And they do. Brumley is going to fly out, so bases loaded, nobody out, but the Seals can't score, and we're on to the second, 1-0. Herons retain the lead. Meanwhile, still no hits in the Fort Collins Somerville game as we go to the bottom of the second. Ricky Rodriguez hits a solo homer for the Herons, making it 2-0. Somerville scores first. Raul Ortiz hits a double, driving in Yamashita. 1-0 in the bottom of the third. I didn't highlight the pitchers, but we have DJ Marksberry for Somerville going against Jimmy Adamczyk for Fort Collins, and George Reed on the mound against Craig Robinette, two studs for the Fire Conference. Studs all around, I should say. All these guys are really talented pitchers. Oops. Second and third, one down for Somerville, trying to add some more runs here. Looks like we have a pitching change already in the Fort Collins game, and Frank Escobar is going to single, driving in Reyes. Oh, excuse me, Reyes triples, driving in two runs for Somerville, and then Frank Escobar singles, driving Reyes in quick succession. So the pitching change does not work out for Fort Collins as Somerville extends the lead to 4-0. Jimmy Adamczyk only went 4.2 innings. That's pretty curious why they pulled him there. Rich Matkin doubles, driving in Torgerson, so Fort Collins is on the board. They have second and third with nobody out. Lindahl strikes out swinging, though. Bases loaded now. Kyle Lacey walks. It's going to bring up Torres. Torres grounds into a double play, so Somerville gets out of the jam and they retain the 4-1 lead going to the bottom of the sixth. Meanwhile, Pat Farrow hits a solo home run for the Herons, extending their lead to 3-0. Leadoff double for Bill Bryce. San Diego trying to get something going. Two on with one out for Somerville, but a double play is going to end the inning there, so they don't tack on any additional runs. They remain ahead 4-1 into the top of the seventh. Meanwhile, Clark Heine singles and drives in Bill Bryce, so San Diego's on the board. It's now 3-1. There's a pitching change in Huron as the Herons pull George Reed after 5.2 innings. And the relief pitcher comes in and gets the job done to get out of the jam. So 3-1 as we go to the seventh. Fort Collins is going to be down to their final 3 outs here as we go to the top of the ninth. Down 4-1 in game one. Let's see if they have any magic left. They've been the comeback kings this postseason, but 3-run deficit against a very strong Somerville team. A leadoff double by Jamie Lindahl keeps them alive. And it looks like Ray Turner's in the game. Actually, don't know what his name is. Turner's in the game. Macy grounds out for the first out in the ninth. A grand slam by Ricky Rodriguez. His second home run of the game is going to put this game pretty much out of reach. 7-1 here on in the top of the eighth. 2 on now for Fort Collins. Down at their last out, though. Tying runner at the plate. And he can't get it done. That's going to end the game. So Somerville takes game one, 4-1, and they remain undefeated here in this postseason. Pitching change for the Herons with 2 on and nobody out for the Seals, trying to keep this a comfortable lead here. Now the bases are loaded for Henderson, and he looks like maybe a pinch hitter Josh Ryan grounds into a double play, so that's going to end the inning. Herons get out unscathed, and they take a 6-run lead into the ninth. I am tight for time today, unfortunately, so I'm just going to speed up the end of this game since it feels a little out of reach. Of course, we'll slow it down if something crazy happens. Lead off walk for Ganoza, and first and second bases loaded, so I guess that's where we'll slow it down for a second. Bases loaded, nobody out all of a sudden for the Seals in the bottom of the ninth. Todd Vela single, so that's going to bring up Bill Bryce. Jenkins coming in to try to shut the door for the Herons. Bill Bryce hits a sac fly, so it's going to score one. It's now 7-2. Jim Green walks. It's going to load the bases back up. He's going to pop out, and then Jenkins is going to end the game. So 7-2. Herons take game one. Right, here we go with game number two. Looks like David Konopka is going to be on the mound for Somerville. Joe Butts is going to be pitching for the Seals. And 1-0 on a Victor Rivera solo home run. Can you believe that? This dude has hit so many first inning home runs this playoff. He has been just a stud. So 1-0, a quick lead for the Herons. It looks like on the mound for the Herons is Brett Johnson. And for Fort Collins, we have Sam Hunt taking the mound. Jim Green doubles, driving in Wilson and Bryce, so the Seals take a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the first. And I need to step away for a few minutes, so we are just going to watch this without commentary for a couple minutes. So good luck. I'll be back in a few. Looks like Somerville's taking the lead in the bottom of the fifth on a couple of doubles by Justin Connolly and Frank Escobar. 2-0 as we go to the top of the sixth. Meanwhile, still 2-1 in the San Diego Huron game as all those runs were scored in the first inning, and it's been a pitcher's duel since that point. Caleb Bremleve hits a two-run homer for the Seals. That's going to extend their lead to 4-1. Now a sheet of doubles driving in Montgomery. 3-0 Somerville in the sixth. Somerville's been getting a lot of hits this game. Corey Henderson with a solo home run, extending the Seals lead 5-1. 2-1, nobody out for Fort Collins, top of the seventh, second and third now on a wild pitch. Bases loaded, nobody out. Torgerson at the plate. And he's going to hit a sac fly that's going to score Fort Collins his first run of the game. It's 3-1. And then a Pete Collick sac fly is going to drive in another 3-2. So they've cut into that deficit with a couple of small ball hits or small ball plays. Huron down to their final 3 outs. In San Diego down 5-1. First we go to the bottom of the eighth. One nobody out for Somerville, trying to add to their narrow margin. Runners advance on a wild pitch, and Connolly scores, so Somerville does get an insurance run. And a sac fly drives in another, so 5-2 as we go to the top of the eighth. Nunez on with 1 out for the Herons, trying to get something going here in the last chance. Diaz coming into the game to try to shut things down for the Seals with 2 down and 2 on. And he does. San Diego takes game 2 and ties the series up 1-1. Meanwhile, 3 outs left in Fort Collins for Fort Collins to get this this series evened up at 1. 2 on for Somerville with 1 out though in the bottom of the eighth, threatening to add more to that 3-run lead. A double play ends the inning, so let's see if Fort Collins has any magic left here in game 2. Goldrick strikes out swinging. And 1-2-3 go the Roosters in the top of the ninth. So that's going to end the game. Somerville 5, Fort Collins 2. They take a 2-0 series lead. We go back to Fort Collins, so there's a lot of series left in that one, but Somerville took care of the job at home. Alrighty, here we go with game three. Ricardo Anguiano on the mound for the Herons. Antonio Tovar taking the mound for the Roosters here. And quick two base runners for the Seals on a couple base hits. Gonna bring up Jim Green. On the other side of thing, it looks like Cowles is gonna be pitching for the Seals here. And we have Peterson on the mound for Somerville. And Huron, my goodness, Victor Rivera hits a solo homer in the first inning. I want to say that's the fifth or sixth time he's done that this postseason. Meanwhile, Kyle Lacey doubles and Lindell scores. Victor Rivera has a solo homer in the first inning of every game of this series, I think, right? That's amazing. Bases loaded, one out for Fort Collins, trying to add more here in the first, and they do. Justin Walters is going to just ground into a fielder's choice to drive in Lacey. So 2-0. Quick start for Fort Collins. And again, I'm going to have to step away here as I'm getting ready to get out of the house. So we'll just play this on mute and we'll see how things play out. right, so we got a close game into the 10th inning now in Huron as the Seals and the Herons are tied 1-1. Meanwhile, 5-0 with 1 out left for Somerville, so it's going to be a Fort Collins win, it looks like, barring a huge collapse here. And Fort Collins is back in this series, so Somerville is still got the 2-1 series lead, but Fort Collins wins at home, so they avoid the 3-0 deficit. And we'll see how game 4 plays out. 2 on, 1 out now, top of the 10th for the Seals, but a double play by Corey Henderson's going to end the inning. That's going to bring up the Herons in the bottom half of the inning. Huron scoring just the 1 run in the first inning on what I feel like is, I don't know if Rivera's hitting leadoff, but like maybe a leadoff home run. They haven't scored since. Meanwhile, the Seals getting the 1 run on a Jim Green homer in the 4th, so this has been a pitcher's duel. Only 2 hits for the Herons, and the second one just came here in the bottom of the 10th. Man on second after a stolen base, 2 down. And on to the 11th we go. Tovar now 3-0 this postseason for Fort Collins. He's been really great on the mound. 6.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts tonight. Man on first for the Seals, 1 down. We got a pitching change. Dykstra's coming into the game. This game's now Mosher's coming in the game. Looks like Dykstra came in just and faced 1 batter. And now Mosher's into the game. I feel like Michael might have a couple pitchers set to just face 1 batter or something like that, because that's happened a couple times this postseason. Or maybe he was a specialist or something like that, but just a very interesting bullpen usage for a couple of these guys. On to the 12th we go. A quick 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 11th for Huron. Kazuski's now on the mound, so Clark Heine singles and Brumleve is hit by the pitch, so 2 on, nobody out for the Seals threatening here. And now a sacrifice puts him on second and third, and an intentional walk, most bases loaded. But a double play by Josh Ryan gets the Herons out of the jam. On to the bottom of the 12th we go. A double by Jonathan Vickers with 1 down. Rivalorio is going to be intentionally walked. It's going to bring up Dooley, and he ends the game. Dooley hits a single to drive in Vickers, and that is a 2-1 victory for the Herons as they take Game 3.
10 minutes.
And on to the final the final game of this sim, Game 4. Let's take a look at the pitching matchups real quick. Then again, I'm going to step away here, and then we will upload a file for our GMs, and we'll probably wrap up the conference championship late tonight, as has been the theme here. On the mound for the Herons is Mark Morales, and on the mound for Fort Collins is Joe Hipp. Meanwhile, pitching for the Seals, Nick Schneider on the mound. Going for Somerville is Fernando Mendoza. Huron on the board in the first with a Jesse Carter solo home run. they continue to hit home runs in the first inning, get those early leads. And again, I'll be stepping away, so good luck to these four teams here in Game 4. So Yamashita with a huge game for Somerville, driving in 3 runs on multiple different hits. Looks like San Diego takes the 3-1 win with 2 runs late in the 7th. And that series is now tied 2-2. Somerville with a 3-1 series lead. And we'll put up a file and we'll finish up later tonight.